gamers, I'm Jason.
And I'm Julie.
And today on Dice and Dragons, we are continuing our coverage of Thunderstone Quest, designed by Mike Elliott, with set design by Brian Reese, and published by Alderac Entertainment Group, also known as AEG. Now I'm going to toss it over to Julie, who will tell you more about the game itself. But just a quick aside, this is not just Thunderstone Quest we are reviewing, it is the Barricades Mode expansion.
So it makes it cooperative.
Yes.
It's a 30 to 60 minute game for 1 to 6 players for ages 14 and above.
One thing I will say, 30 to 60 minutes, that is a load of BS. A large load of BS.
It's at least an hour and a half.
I'd say at least 90 minutes with 2 players, yeah. Well, we got close to 60. I think if you know the game really well, you can get it down to 60, but that's only with 2. And what do you think about the age range?
I think it's a pretty good age range, especially for the Barricades mode. There's a lot of moving pieces, and we'll get into that in the review. But I think it's a good age.
So just to explain what Barricades mode is, well, you will have your village as you do in Thunderstone Quest. However, you're going to be trying to defend the village by building barricades to protect areas of the village, but they can only take 1 hit, so keep that in mind. Next, you're going to be doing the same thing that you did in the base game, which is recruiting heroes. I was going to say acquire. I was working on a video about acquiring. You'll see what that is when it gets released. In any case, recruiting heroes, buying market cards, and then going into the dungeon, smashing monsters, and defeating the Thunderstone Guardian. This time, though, you need to defeat the Guardian together in order to successfully win the game. Even if the village does get destroyed, you can win a Pyrrhic victory, but you don't want that to happen. You want to save the village. So what time is it now, Julie?
Well, it's going to be time to grab our drinks.
Grab our best friend.
We're going to take it to the table.
Oh, you stole that from me.
It's my line.
Okay. Well, I'm wondering if you're going to prefer the cooperative or the competitive mode. I think this might be a time where you actually prefer a competitive version of a game. Well, this only happened once before. Maybe this will be the second time.
We'll see in the review, won't we?
Yep. Now let's take a look at the components that we've got in Thunderstone Quest Barricades Mode. Well, we do have some new tiles, as you can see here. So, level 1, level 2 tiles, and I'm just going to take these and place them off camera. We'll get them back on here in a moment. We also then have, of course, more level 2, and then a large stack of different level 3 tiles. Now, all of these locations are for the 2 new quests that are available. I'm actually just going to leave those tiles off camera because the real piece of Barricades mode that's different is the new wilderness that we have right here. So you've got the setup for Barricades mode and the new version that you can use for your quest mode, which has the Arctic mosquitoes already on it. So you can see those. We have the new blue wounds. There they are right there, the new blue Arctic frozen wound tokens. Not quite sure what those do. Haven't dove into the rules for the standard version yet. And a nice space for the Guardian. And then, of course, what we have here are the Guardian boards, the enemy boards, this 4th room that you will be using in Barricades mode. So this is one side of it. This is the side when you're actually going to be facing the villain. And then this is the side of their lair where the threat levels are going to be ticking up using this purple, and I'm knocking stuff around, but that's okay, the purple threat token as things get more and more dangerous. So we've got one for all of the Thunderstone Guardians, which I think is just very cool. And we've got the Hive Mind's Lair, which is a solo mode and a co-op mode. As you saw earlier, there was the co-op version. Not sure what the difference is. I've yet to give the game a shot solo. We'll just slide that back in there. Make sure everything gets back on camera. Try not to knock anything off. and make sure it's looking good. We do get 2 new miniatures, even though we had enough in the original game. Do you like the poses? We get a monk and another fighter. We also get some new, or just increased Thunderstone XP tokens. Now, I'm not sure if the white ones are a higher value, but I'd assume that these are going to be, values of 10 instead of the values of 5 like the black ones were. And then we get the Barricades Mode dice. Now, there are a total of 16 of them. They're 12-sided die with a whole slew of different symbols. Some are great, like the trophy. There's wounds. There's +1 to draw a card. There are the symbols for monsters. And then the other colored symbols, which I'm not going to showcase. You'll find out more about them when you take a look at these Guardians guides, which actually relate to the wilderness boards. But as you can see, those symbols will follow what's on the Guardian guide. So you've got a guide when you're in the lair and a guide for when you're actually fighting them. The reason for these guides are you just have a few to hand out, make it a little bit easier for players to see. So you've got them for all of the different Thunderstone Guardians. Now, as we're talking about the Guardians, we also have these new curse cards, which can give you some negative gold and have a variety of nasty effects. You'll notice they are listed as a curse, slightly different color back so they don't actually go in your deck. Now, we also get these tokens, which you may be wondering what they're for. Well, these are your barricades. What you do is you flip it over after paying 10, make a barricade. The green side means your zone is protected. It also has the instructions for the marketplace and the guild quarters in the Barricades mode. You get one for all of the different locations. The only issue I really take with this is this design that be used with the playmat, which I'll showcase right now. So we do have the playmat. The playmat is double-sided. The side I'm rolling out right now, as you can see, is just your standard Thunderstone Quest side right here. Make sure it's all on camera, well, just about. Now, if you flip it over, we get the Barricades mode side, where you'll be able to flip over the tokens. Well, those tokens that I just showed you don't really fit well on the game board. That doesn't mean that we can't actually use it, but just wanted to point that out. Now, we also have, and I won't go through the details of all of them, we have these new prestige classes, and some of them are upside down. Apologies. So you get classes like the Battle Mage, Divine Oracle, Arcane Order, Duelist, and what you're able to do is, when you meet the conditions that are listed up here, you're able to up-level your rank and gain more abilities, more power, and it's essential to Barricades mode. Now, you can also use these in the regular game. Instead of using a side quest, you'll see that this side does not say Barricades mode, and this will just be the regular version of the prestige classes. And you've got a lot of them. We're not going to go through all of them, but let's see how many we actually get. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have a total of 12 different prestige classes, so that's just going to add plenty of variety and variability to the game. We also have the new marketplace tile for the original game. What this lets you do is set up campaign mode, which changes how you're able to purchase cards. You can actually buy cards from the box if you so choose. And then it just has some rules for the epic mode. Just a nice little feature there. Now here we've got the destruction chits, some which will not have any negative effects. They'll just block you from being able to go to certain areas of the town. You flip them over once they are drawn from a bag. I'll showcase the bag in a second. These areas are now blocked. Once an area is destroyed, you cannot repair it. You also have some that will add other negative effects. For example, you can see +1 to the cost of cards. And this one actually means you have to spend 1 experience in order to enter that area of the game map. So, well, not the game map, we'll say the village. Same difference. Now, those are all kept in this nice bag. What you're going to do, pull one out and you'll see what it is. Easy and straightforward. We also get 2 more player boards. This is a 5 to 6 player expansion, so it does give you 2 new boards, exactly the same as the original boards. Now, the other thing that we get here are some new starting cards. So we've got a Halfling Ally. They do have some abilities with regards to rolled dice. We then get Joba, who will let you do similar things as you can do with your base monster. If you start in your hand, if they start in your hand, you get this really cool Spoils ability to level up your heroes without necessarily going to certain areas of town. When you're playing a cooperative game, you get the Thunderstone pieces, which are then added to your deck, which have specific abilities. As you can see, the Spoils effect is if you're in a party. Now, when you're playing solo, which you can, it is the Thunderstone staffs, which have a specific dungeon ability. And we've taken a look at everything that we have on camera here. Now, let's take a look at some of the other items that we get in the game, but I just didn't place them on camera. For those that do like to play Epic Thunderstone, and I'm considering adding that to my my pledge right now for the new Horizons campaign, the quests 8 and 9, you do get cards that you would need to support quests 6 and 7 in Epic mode. So, see that this is pack number 2. That's the one I took out. We then, of course, have the quests packaged up. As you can see there, 1, 2, and 3. You also get a full set of starting cards for your new players, 5 and 6. You also get a whole slew of extra adventurers, actually, which I thought is very cool. We also get some more of the dividers for all of the stuff that's going to be coming in the new expansion. And you may have noticed them. We do get stickers. So there are stickers that come with the game. Now, the ones that you see here, the Guild's Quarter and the Marketplace, are for the original board if you've got the first Kickstarter or potentially the retail version of the game. These medals are for the rulebook, just to sort of track any challenges that you met. And we got a fun, funky AEG sticker on it. Then last but not least, we of course have our new rulebook, which gives you all the details of Barricades mode and includes the standard Thunderstone Quest book for Chapter 6 and Chapter 7. And you can see right here where you can place all of the different medals. And that's it. That's everything that comes in the box for Thunderstone Quest Barricades mode. So keep it right here as I'm going to get everything reorganized, and we'll teach you how to set up the game in Barricades mode as well as how to play. Now we're going to take a quick look at how you set up Thunderstone Quest Barricades mode. Because of the length of the mat, and I wanted to make sure that the villain's lair, our Thunderstone Guardian lair, was visible on the camera, I did not include a level 3 room. Now normally you would have your level 3 rooms placed right here, meaning that the total amount of light that you're going to need to get down to the lair once the villain is available is going to be a total, well, depends on what you've got in the different rooms, with usually about 5 or 6. Also, I'm not going to be revisiting how to set up the village because that was already done in our review of Thunderstone Quest. There'll be a card popping up shortly if you'd like to go take a look at our setup. Now, I know that part of this area is cut off as there's not that many changes to the temple and the Shop of Wonders. I decided to make sure to feature the bazaar, the marketplace, and the other areas where we have some changes. So what are you going to do to set up the game? Well, baseline, as I just said, sets up like Thunderstone Quest. You set up your weapons, your spells, your items, your heroes in the village. Next, you need to get your tokens to set up your barricades. Well, there's no barricades on them yet, so you just set up different tokens in each of the locations with the red side up, because that means there is no barricade currently at that location. And what I want to do, I'm going to highlight these two actually because we'll talk about the two new. Actually, you know what? We'll do it later. Do it later. Let's just get this set up. Keep moving on with this. So we're good to go there. You're going to need, if you're playing solo, which I am, a total of 5 of these dice for the threat die. And then you're going to set up your level 1 monsters in your level 1 rooms, level 2 monsters in your level 2 rooms, level 3s should be following. And then we've got our new wilderness where we've got our giant rat. We will then pick a prestige class. So you want to set that up with the barricades mode side available. I'm going to place that here. Also, you're going to want to have a guild sponsorship. It can make a big difference in the game. So this is one of the new ones. I'm associated with the Jewelers Guild. Then we have our new location for all of our gear tokens. I'm using the white Thunderstones to represent lanterns because I haven't received mine yet from AEG. And then just to take a look at the new starting deck, which I've already shuffled, you're going to have for solo mode 2 Thunderstone staffs, a Joba, and Brisetum. These 4 cards, will replace your lanterns and your Thunderstone shards. And that's it. That's all you really need to do to get set up and get ready for the game. Now, what I'm going to do is show you guys my hero. We're going to start him off someplace interesting, potentially in the marketplace, I believe. And when we come back, we're going to go through the first turn of the game. Now, before we go into turn 1, I realized I neglected to showcase one thing you need to set up for barricades mode, and that is the monster bag. So what do? Well, you're going to take 20 tokens and add them to the bag. So these are the destruction chits. If you're playing on a higher difficulty level, you may add any number of the ones that do more effects, such as +1 to the cost and costing you experience to go to certain areas on the map. What you do is for however many you put in, you would then remove an equivalent amount from the bag. That being said, everything's now covered, and we are going to go into how you play the game. Well, in barricades mode, you actually do get 2 phases. Every turn you're going to get a village phase and a dungeon phase. And you're going to start off by rolling one of the threat die. Now the threat level is at 1, meaning I'm only going to roll 1 die. What this says here is this means that there is 1 threat level of monster currently endangering the village. Now to get rid of this at the end of my turn, I need to have at least defeated a level 1 monster. Otherwise, we're drawing a destruction chit. I will draw my starting hand. I have my 6-card starting hand, and we'll be good to go. So I need to defeat at least a level 1 monster. Oof. Those are annoying because they actually add some disease, but yeah. Well, first and foremost, we've got our gold. I'm generating 5 gold. I'm at the marketplace, so let's take a look at the marketplace special ability. Now, this time at the marketplace, I may draw 1 card or give, lend/borrow 1 card to/from another player. Now, in barricades mode, if I'm partied up with another player, I am able to give them cards, lend them cards, or even borrow cards from them to increase the effectiveness of my hand. I'm able to use my abilities also. For example, if I had a cleric that heals, Proudmoore does not, I could also then heal them. So that's one of the new mechanics in the game, showcased very well on the Thunderstone pieces. Now in the Guild's Quarter, I can decide to level up a hero in the village this turn, but it may be leveled up as a spoils ability afterwards. So obviously you want to figure out if you can defeat one of the villains. What you would then do is, for example, if I started there, I could say, this is my adventurer. I'm going to level him up. Then after I go into the dungeon and successfully defeat an enemy, I would level him up. So we've just covered what we can do for the village phase. Now I only have 5. I have a duelist. So let's take a look at the duelist right now quickly. So what happens with the duelist? I can upgrade different ranks in my special abilities. To do that, I have to meet these separate conditions. So the first one is defeat a +1 monster with a wielded weapon. So not +1, 1+. To level up 1 or 2 ranks, I need to defeat a level 3 or higher monster with a fighter and or rogues wielding weapons, wielding a combined +6 printed of weapons. So that's what we need to do. And then if I do happen to roll the golden chalice, once per turn gain 1 bread and 1 lantern, allocating them between any players. And as I level up, I get more abilities. And also first ranking comes free. Now the reason why these die are there is you can max out at 5 die. So in any case, probably going with rogues and fighters for my guy. Best card I can probably buy is the battle pick, edged weapon. So make my purchase, add it to the dungeon deck. I really don't want to take any destruction chits on my first turn. So what I'm going to do, this actually requires 1 light. This room requires 0 light. This is a total of 5. I'm at the marketplace, so we're moving into the wilderness to start my dungeon phase. I have 1 light, so going there is very much possible. Let's see what I have. I also, before I left, my apologies, I was in the marketplace. I can draw an extra card. So I've got an adventurer. I'm just going to play him down here. When I equip a dagger, my adventurer, I get to draw another card. I've got another adventurer. So I can also then equip this dagger on him. So we've got, also I will equip her on him. So we've got a nice total printed fight here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I then have my Thunderstone staff, but I've got a total of 8 fight. I could actually move down and even fight that villain, but getting rid of that guy is kind of crucial as well. But before I forget, I need to draw another card. So I pretty much drawn my whole deck here. And disadvantage when you move through this room, I must take a Festering Wound. I don't have the Festering Wounds out. So in any case, I'm going to do it anyway. So I'd move through here with 1 light. Do I have another light? No, so that's 0 light. Then with 1 light, I'm going to move into this room because I got a total of 8 fight. So at the start of the battle, unless you have a rogue or treasure, discard 1 of each type of gear token. No gear tokens, so it doesn't affect me after battle. Spoils, level up 1 0 level hero or 1 of my first level heroes, paying the XP cost so I can at least level up 1 of my guys, which is good. And before battle, discard 1 hero, destroy it if you have a disease. Well, I would have a disease token in my discard, but not in my hand. I would not need to follow that, meaning I would take 2 diseases, as you can see by the symbol right here. I will actually pull out the disease cards and correct that. I would gain 4 XP. Draw 1 treasure card, so a treasure cache. When you do draw this card, destroy it to gain 3 XP. So a total of 7 XP. And then I can level up 1 of my heroes, destroying them and getting 1 by paying the XP cost, which would be a total of 3. So I can just put these 3 back. And I will take Uvina the Delver. We will then discard all the cards. This thing gets removed from the attacking monster pool because I did defeat a 2nd level monster. So this goes then at the bottom of the deck. We will then flip over and reveal the next one. After that, it would then be my turn again. The threat levels are going to keep ticking up, as you can see here. So once I've been playing a few turns, I would actually be rolling 2 dice, making things even more dangerous. Now, if, for example, I rolled these different symbols, I would consult here to see what I actually have to do in terms of taking damage and adding even more monsters into the pool. Now, this X is a destruction chit that cannot be removed, meaning you best build barricades in the city. Now, how do you build barricades? Well, when you're in the city, in the area that you're in, you pay 10 gold, flip it over. Now you've got one barricade, meaning the city can resist one hit to that location. And you're going to be playing through, going on, also ranking up my hero. Just use this. So I beat that guy. I would have 1 rank in this. So now, for example, this time your hero's skill cannot be reduced once per turn before your weapon is discarded / destroyed. You may cancel it. So I can protect my weapons and stuff now. Cool ability. But as we go through all this stuff, eventually, once we get to turn 9, we flip this over, revealing the queen. And then we've got to get down and defeating her. So we have a special when revealed effect. So we deal 1 destruction chit of damage directly to each village location with 2 or fewer chits. So when she shows up, we'd actually, if this was the case of the village, we're doing great. We'd add a destruction chit everywhere. And we would then have to damage her 2 times. Now, if you're looking, you need to see what her health is going to be, because depending on the amount of players, it could be much more. When we were playing multiplayer with this, for example, all of these gave her bonuses. So if this was the case, and it's a 2-player game, this was the Horde, she'd be level 14. Well, not level 14, she'd take 14 damage. However, when you whack her and destroy her, you get 7 ranks of monsters to get rid of. So keep that in mind. You also need to move all the way through into her lair to fight her. So you got to go through everything and suffer all of the different effects. Keep that in mind. It's not the easiest to get down to Smarga. Don't forget, I'm also missing level 3 here, right? So you're going to have to go through the level 3 dungeon room as well. And that's really how you play Barricades mode. You're going to be fighting monster. So you're going to be starting out rolling your dice, seeing what negative effects you've got to counter, taking your village phase, doing your best in the dungeon to power up your deck, get rid of anything that you can, and hopefully not suffering any destruction. I'll just go through quickly what happens. So if we had a chit, reach in the bag, pull one out, see what it is. It's an X in the temple. So this would, it's not quite the right spot, but I want to make sure it's on camera. Let's just say it was the guild quarters. You remove a spot from the guild quarters, meaning only 3 players can go there now per turn. Once it's completely sealed off, no one else can go there. So as you can see, it's very much like the original Thunderstone Quest. You just have a couple of new cards and new abilities. So with that being said, Julie and I are going to come at you with our review of the game. So Thunderstone Quest Barricades Mode, the 5th and 6th quest plus the co-op expansion. Well, we didn't play the 5th and 6th quest. We got a long way to go to get there. In any case, what did you think of the cooperative mode? This very nice, gigantic expansion.
Well, I think it definitely adds a couple different layers that you have to consider on top of the base game. So it adds a little bit of complexity, I would say, and more things that you have to manage, which isn't a bad thing. It's just definitely a game where you have to manage your resources very well. And I
would disagree. I don't think it adds anything more above the base game. What I think it does is it highlights a lot of the features that maybe aren't as apparent in the base game, like the wounds and things like that just they're a much smaller mechanic, where in this game they become a gigantic part of the game.
And maybe you'll correct me, but the side thing where you can level up was not in the original version.
No, that's correct. That is a completely new mechanic.
So that's something else that you have to watch and try to consider. So there is a cost of what you can do. You can't do everything. And I think one of the things we played it 4-player and we played it 2-player. When we played it 4-player, we played it with people who had not played the base version, and I definitely think it took them a little bit longer than it took us to get the nuances, the subtleties of playing the cooperative version. So I definitely think, though it's not absolutely required, it definitely helps if you've played the competitive version before.
Well, I'm going to tell you, if someone in your group has played the competitive version, you can go right to the cooperative version. The rulebook does not teach you at all how to play Thunderstone Quest. The rulebook for Barricades Mode is strictly the cooperative rulebook with the 2 quests, Quest 5 and 6, that are then added in the box.
So basically, I like there's the addition of the barricades. Basically, I honestly that they were interesting and different things where you can spend your resources.
And the way you can pool your resources.
And yes, of course, you can pool your resources, and that was interesting. I think pooling the resources was more and going on a party quest was more fun at 4 players than it was at 2, because it allowed for a little bit more variety there.
It definitely felt that at 2 players, going on a party quest was really only valuable if it would let you get like a level 3 monster. Otherwise, it felt like we were better off splitting our resources to maximize the amount of damage we could do to the monster horde attacking the village.
Yeah. So I personally felt when we played the first time, 4-player, we basically squeaked by with a victory. And I think we probably would have been a little bit better at it had we not been forgetting. I was forgetting to level up. I was forgetting, some of the things that go, and a couple. I think we could have beat the villain more quickly. So what I'm trying to say is, there's the added complexity of different things that you have to remember. When we played a 2-player, we just didn't build our deck properly.
No, and actually, that's one thing I want to say. When we were playing 4 players. Julie and I were playing it more like the competitive version, very much focusing on a vast variety of heroes and leveling up our heroes. And what was interesting is our comrades, the Cyberbog, by the way, there'll be a nice little card popping up if you'd like to check out his channel. We played with him and his wife. He was actually focusing more on his prestige class. So while he often didn't necessarily have heroes that could hit hard, when they came out, he could hit really hard, and other than that, he was partying up with everyone, boosting everyone else, so it was working out well in terms of like a 4-player game. So I just found that to be interesting, as we had, 4 players and 2 people were like, we're going to have the army of heroes, and the other characters were sort of playing support, but with the potential for crazy amounts of damage on their best turns. And that did very well for us, I would say, overall. Even when things looked like it was going to get out of control, we kept it under control. And that was largely due to the prestige class element. I gotta say that duelist with rogues and fighters was just wrecking shop.
Mm-hmm.
And I was healing, which was very nice. The Divine Order healing class worked very well. So that's one thing you have to consider, that those prestige classes get a nice variety and they'll let you do some really cool stuff and work together in some interesting fashion. So that I do agree with you. That definitely adds a layer of complexity to the game. But other than that, I feel like it's very much the same game, besides the dice. Actually, we didn't even talk about the dice. We should talk about that.
Yeah, well, and that was, I was going to say annoying. That's part of the game, right? So there's the added dice.
That's the pressure mechanic.
Yes, and honestly, the combination of that and the other things that you have to remember, the pressure got to us, and we forgot to build our deck properly. We didn't buy enough heroes.
Yeah, when we were playing just the 2 of us.
Yeah, so I think what I'd say is if we played it again, I definitely we have to try to, and we did that. I mean, we've done that in Aeon's End as well, right? Where we played a certain way and we realized that you sometimes have to adjust the way you play. And in this, we definitely needed to adjust a little bit, and we didn't, and we didn't win.
No, and I would say that you have a lot more variety as to how you can play the game with more player counts.
Yes.
Well, you're going to have a lot more pressure building faster from the dice, the fact that you can party up, and that someone can actually take almost like a pure support role, be healing everybody, and this just following along is something that you're not going to have when you're playing more of a 2-player game. And it's something to consider, but I also really like it. It gives you a lot of value bringing it to the table with different player counts, knowing that while you're getting the same gaming experience, you're going to get enough variety that it's going to feel different playing with those different player counts.
So
not sure at 6 though. 6 will probably feel a lot like 4.
Yeah, well, at 4 was definitely, I enjoyed it more at 4 than at 2. But then again, like I said, because we lost, I probably would want to try it again and see if I liked it more. So that being said, when that's the different mechanics or whatever, the little negative I felt that this playmat is really cramped.
Yeah, I don't like the...
It is so tight, it's hard, like the cards move just a little bit and they're one on top of each other.
So, just so you know, because I did not mention it beforehand, the playmat is an added accessory that they built for Barricades Mode. And it's something that I bought. It doesn't actually come with the game. If you did get the second version of the Kickstarter, so not the version that I have, this is the first, this is the second Kickstarter, but our base game is from the first version. What that means is you get some stickers. That's what the stickers you saw before. That is to change your board. So you can use the base board in Barricades Mode. That being said, what do I think absolutely sucks about that is the pieces for the barricades aren't designed to fit with the baseboard at all. They're designed to fit with the playmat, which is an add-on. Now, as Barricades Mode is currently only available via Kickstarter, I get it. Most people would have purchased the playmat, but it's definitely a big negative because there should have been pieces also included for the original game board. I don't like that, so I'm agreeing with you. I do like the look of the playmat. I feel that it's a lot, the art is just way better.
Yeah, it's very tight and feels cramped.
And there's no room for the monsters either.
No.
Especially when we were playing on a table that wasn't well suited for it. We were running out of room.
Yeah, it definitely helps if you can read the cards, that's for sure.
Yes, but you do get 2 new miniatures, which I actually like because in the base game, we do have 6, no, it's
4.
No, there's 3 or 4 extra. Well, it's 5 or 6 minis that you get in the original game. There's really only 2 of them that we liked, and the 2 that come in this game I felt were a nice addition to that stock of minis, because otherwise I think they're a little lame.
Yeah, and there's a couple more, there's a couple new different cards that made it fun as well that we encountered in this. I discovered the legendary cards, which I wish I would have been able to use. Had I built my deck a little bit better, I might have been able to use it, but
No, and the prestige classes are a lot of fun, and I do like the fact that you can incorporate them into the base game instead of the side quest. That being said, I don't really see how prestige classes would fit in the base game because they take a lot of time to sort of build up. So unless you're playing more like a slow burn and you're really trying to level it up, you're just getting rid of victory points to be able to do more stuff. Pretty cool, but at the same point in time, I'm not so sure if that's like how the game was intended. But I do like the fact that everything that you get in the box is compatible with competitive, cooperative, and we're getting a lot of new stuff. I do think, excuse me, this is a great expansion for Thunderstone Quest. So, what's your rating on this game? So, I would say we're going to rate it a little differently. We're going to rate the competitive mode, what we think of it after 2 plays. I want to stress we only got 2 plays in so far. We'll definitely play some more. But then we'll also rate sort of the whole thing put together. Because
you mean the cooperative mode?
Yeah, rate the cooperative mode, then rate, does this boost your Thunderstone Quest rating? Does it lower it? How does it make expand the whole experience?
I think I'm going to base it on the 4-player version of it, because as I said, I enjoyed it as 4-player a little bit more. I still enjoyed it as 2, but I'm going to base it on the fact that I think this is a great 4-player cooperative game. It's a solid 8 for me.
And I would have to say as well, I'm going to give this an 8. But it's funny because you're going to say that 2 8s don't equal a 9. But this actually boosts my rating of Thunderstone Quest to a 9. I think Thunderstone Quest with the competitive and the cooperative version of the game is a collection essential. It's getting up there to one of my top games. I want to play it. Difficult here on Dice and Dragons because we have to bring you guys new reviews. Well, maybe we'll do a playthrough, but this is the table. I'm not sure how that would look. So that is to be decided. But I think everyone, especially if you like deck builders, you should own this game, and the cooperative version is really sort of that icing on the cake. That means you'll be able to get it out almost all the time. And I do know there are some issues that EEG is having with getting out Barricades Mode because they only did a limited print run, hoping that they resolve that for the new Kickstarter. But I mean, it's 2 new quests and I jumped right in, and normally Julie's asking me, what are you kickstarting? When I said, oh, there's new stuff for Thunderstone Quest, she's like, you back it, right? There was no questions about it. So what is your rating then of Thunderstone Quest, like the whole game with the competitive and the co-op.
I won't go as high as a 9. I'll say it's an 8.5. But I agree with you. I do think it makes it that much more fun, that much more quests, and it elevated it a little bit.
So I think we both kind of agree. This is, if you're a deck building person, get Thunderstone Quest.
Now the interesting thing will be seeing where this ends up when we do a top 10.
Yes, so we've been thinking about it, and there's a good chance we'll be doing a top 10 probably while we are on vacation. It'll be a good chance for us to film it. And fortunately, we won't have all the boxes there, but it'll give me some time to play with some editing, popping up some artwork of the specific games. But we'll see.
We'll figure it out while we're there and film it while we're here. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see, but it's coming. Don't you worry.
So on that note, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for the notification so you know when we have some new content for you.
And then we'll be doing our top 10.
And what about social media?
Down below in the video description, if you'd like to see some of the stuff that we are doing while we are not here in our filming space and doing some gaming while we are taking a nice, chillax time at a cottage, don't worry, we have some pre-filmed content that'll still be coming for you in the following week. But you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Probably going to see a lot more Instagram than anything else while we're gone, so make sure to check that out. And anything else you want to add?
No, but it's, what time is it?
Time to grab our drinks.
Yep.
It's your turn now. I'm reversing it on you.
Grab our best friends.
I have to catch her.
Gotta keep playing games.
Keep playing games. We're definitely going to keep playing this one. For those still watching, I did promise a small campaign update. However, we did not get a chance to play the competitive mode. So she still leads. Don't worry, this is coming with us up north. You'll get an update when we get back.